Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Loeb joins me. Nice to see you again, sir.
Great to see you, Greta.
Well, there's a lot of attention on this hitting the moon, but I was looking at some pictures of the moon today. It looks sort of pockmarked to begin with. It looks like a lot of things run into the moon. Tell me what you think about this.
Well, the moon is scarred with a lot of impacts, most of which were rocks in the past, before humanity developed its technologies. Even the Artemis 2 astronauts noticed 9 flashes from rocks impacting the moon. In difference from the Earth that has an atmosphere, even small rocks do not burn up. There is not much friction until they hit the surface of the moon. They create a crater, and there is a splash of dust coming out of that crater. And if the speed of some particles is high enough, they can go into space. They can be ejected from the moon and escape the gravity of the moon. Now, this particular impact is of a technological object, the upper stage of a Falcon 9 rocket from SpaceX. And there have been a lot of such impacts as well, starting in the 1970s. From the Apollo missions, Apollo 13, 14, 15, and 17 had various components impacting the moon. Obviously, it creates a crater, but it's a crater that is not just made of the dust that was on the moon, but also of the material that was used technologically by these impactors. Now, there is nothing really fundamentally new here, except the impact will be sort of on the borderline between the far side of the moon and the near side of the moon. The moon is always facing us with the same side because it's locked by the tidal field. The tidal gravity, it always shows us the same side, and this impact will happen on the borderline. So it's not clear whether we would see it, but within a week there will be the lunar reconnaissance mission that will hover over that part of the moon, and we will be able to see the crater. And then there will be a plume of dust being raised that will go up and then down within a few minutes. Some of the particles may escape. It's interesting to see such impacts. It will tell us something about the surface of the moon in that location. By the way, the moon is covered with dust that is very sharp. If you were to touch it, it will cut your hand. And it's basically like fiberglass, and that's because there is no weathering. There is no friction on water or air that would smooth out the fragments. So the moon is covered with very dangerous kind of dust.
We have a few seconds left. Do you have a microscope that can watch this, or are you going to have to wait to see what is provided by a telescope? Yeah, I mean a telescope.
Yeah, I think some observers will try to see it, but it's a matter of luck whether it hits a little bit on the far side, so we won't see much except for the plume of dust. Or it may be visible, so it's touch and go. At 2:40 or so a.m., we will know tomorrow morning.
I'm interested, so anyway, we'll see. I guess I'll get the replays. Anyway, Dr. Avi Loeb, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.